Jack DeJohnette, the legendary drummer and fusion pioneer, who passed away at 83. Known for his groundbreaking work with Miles Davis, Herbie Hancock, Keith Jarrett, and Sonny Rollins, DeJohnette transformed modern jazz with his deep groove, inventive rhythms, and extraordinary creativity. His drumming on Bitches Brew helped redefine the boundaries of jazz, rock, and funk. Miles Davis once said, "Jack gave me a certain deep groove that I just loved to play over." Born in Chicago, Jack began as a pianist before discovering his voice on the drums. His influence shaped generations of musicians worldwide. A true icon, his sound will echo through jazz forever. Beloved British actress Prunella Scales, famed for her unforgettable role as Sybil Fawlty in Fawlty Towers, has passed away at 93. Her family confirmed she died peacefully at her London home, surrounded by love. Her sons Samuel and Joseph shared, "Our darling mother Prunella Scales died peacefully at home yesterday. She was 93. Despite battling dementia in her later years, she remained spirited and found joy in life's simple pleasures, even watching Fawlty Towers the day before she passed." Her remarkable career spanned nearly 70 years across theater, television, and film, marked by wit, grace, and impeccable comedic timing. Britain has lost a shining star whose talent and charm will never be forgotten. Raiders legend George Atkinson, a key member of the iconic Soul Patrol secondary, has passed away at 78. Known for his fearless defense, explosive play, and dedication to the game, Atkinson was a cornerstone of the Raiders from 1968 to 1977. He earned 2 Pro Bowl selections and the 1968 AFL Defensive Rookie of the Year award. Drafted from Morris Brown, Atkinson embodied Raiders' pride, toughness, and an era-defining style of football. His legacy as a Raider and football icon will live on forever. Former New York Jets center and 2-time All-Pro Nick Mangold has died at 41 after a courageous battle with kidney disease. Known for his toughness, leadership, and long blonde hair, Mangold was a respected figure both on and off the field. The Jets announced his death came from complications related to his illness, leaving teammates and fans devastated. Mangold's legacy of grit, integrity, and quiet leadership will be remembered as a standard for players and a source of inspiration for all who knew him. Dolly Rebecca Parton was born on January 19, 1946, in a small, weathered one-room cabin in Locust Ridge, Tennessee, at the foot of the Great Smoky Mountains. She was the 4th of 12 children born to Robert Lee Parton, a sharecropper and construction worker, and A.V. Lee Owens Parton, a devoted homemaker and singer. The family was incredibly poor. The cabin had no running water or electricity, and winters were harsh. Yet, Dolly's early years were rich in love, music, and storytelling, elements that would shape her for life. Her father, Robert Lee, was a man of practical intelligence and strong work ethic. He worked tirelessly to provide for his family, and his lessons in perseverance and resilience stayed with Dolly throughout her career. A.V. Lee, her mother, was the emotional anchor of the household. She sang constantly hymns, lullabies, and Appalachian ballads, and taught her children the value of faith, love, and music. Dolly would later say that her mother's voice was the first song I ever learned to carry in my heart. Growing up in the mountains, Dolly experienced the beauty and hardships of rural life intimately. Life was simple but demanding. The family worked hard for their survival, yet evenings were filled with music, storytelling, and laughter. Dolly was immersed in Appalachian culture, which provided her with rich material for her songwriting. Her earliest compositions were inspired by family, nature, and everyday struggles, combining sincerity with imagination. Dolly began singing in church at the age of 5. Her early exposure to gospel music helped her develop a strong vocal foundation and a sense of emotional expression in performance. By age 7, she had built her first makeshift guitar and began experimenting with writing songs. She was naturally gifted at turning ordinary experiences into stories with melody and heart, and her creativity quickly drew attention. Her uncle, Bill Owens, recognized Dolly's extraordinary talent early on. He encouraged her to perform at local radio stations in Knoxville, Tennessee. One of her first supporters was Cass Walker, a businessman who ran a radio and television program called the Cass Walker Farm and Home Hour. Cass immediately noticed her charisma, poise, and strong voice, and soon Dolly was performing regularly on local broadcasts. She was captivating, able to convey vulnerability and strength simultaneously, a rare quality for a child performer. At the age of 10, Dolly was performing on television and radio shows multiple times a week. These early experiences taught her stage presence, professionalism, and the discipline needed for a long career in music. She was also developing her songwriting skills, creating lyrics inspired by life in the mountains, her family, and her observations of people's joys and struggles. By 13, Dolly had recorded her first single, Puppy Love, on the Gold Band label. Though the record did not chart nationally, it was a major milestone for a young girl from rural Tennessee. That same year, she performed at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, marking her first exposure to the national country music stage. Backstage, she met Johnny Cash, who encouraged her to be herself and follow her instincts, advice she would carry for decades. Dolly's teenage years were filled with ambition and determination. Immediately after graduating high school in 1964, she moved to Nashville with her Uncle Bill to pursue a career in music. The city was competitive and full of obstacles, but Dolly's talent, drive, and authenticity quickly set her apart. Initially, she found work as a songwriter, joining Combined Music Publishing. Her early compositions for other artists included Put It Off Until Tomorrow for Bill Phillips, which became a top 10 country hit in 1966. Writing songs for others gave Dolly credibility in Nashville, but she always dreamed of performing her own music. Her style blended Appalachian storytelling, heartfelt emotion, and vocal prowess. By 1967, she had recorded her debut album, Hello, I'm Dolly, which featured the hit single Dumb Blonde. Though it was a modest commercial success, the album introduced her unmistakable voice and style to a national audience. That same year, Dolly joined The Porter Wagoner Show, a syndicated television program that provided her with national exposure. Her collaboration with Wagoner would become both a career launching point and a learning experience. Performing duets with him, Dolly developed her skills as a live entertainer, while also understanding the complexities of show business and the music industry. Their work together produced multiple hits, including The Last Thing on My Mind and Just Someone I Used to Know. During these years, Dolly's voice matured, her songwriting deepened, and her presence became unmistakable. She had a rare ability to write songs that were both personal and universal, capturing emotions that resonated across generations. Her experiences in poverty, in family life, and in the mountains of Tennessee became the foundation for songs like Coat of Many Colors, which she would write in the early 1970s, and which remains one of her most iconic works. By 1970, Dolly was no longer just a rising star. She was on the verge of becoming a cultural icon. Her combination of vocal talent, sharp songwriting, charisma, and authenticity positioned her for a career that would span decades. The years in the mountains had given her stories, resilience, and a voice that was uniquely hers. They had also instilled in her a deep empathy and sense of humor, qualities that would endear her to millions of fans worldwide. By 1967, Dolly Parton had become a recognizable voice in Nashville, but national fame was still a goal on the horizon. That year marked a turning point. She joined The Porter Wagoner Show, a popular syndicated television program hosted by country singer Porter Wagoner. Wagoner was already a well-established star with a loyal fan base, and the show provided an enormous platform for new artists. For Dolly, the opportunity was invaluable. She could reach audiences across the country every week, showcase her talent, and learn the ins and outs of the music business from one of its seasoned veterans. Dolly's entry onto Wagoner's program was not without challenges. She was young, ambitious, and fiercely independent. qualities that sometimes clashed with Wagner's established style and vision. Nevertheless, the chemistry between them, both professionally and musically, was undeniable. Their duets became instant hits, blending Wagner's smooth baritone with Dolly's bright soprano. Songs such as The Last Thing on My Mind, Just Someone I Used to Know, and Tomorrow is Forever highlighted their vocal synergy and storytelling ability. The television show also allowed Dolly to develop her performance skills, mastering timing, audience engagement, and stage presence under the scrutiny of millions of viewers. During this period, Dolly's songwriting continued to flourish. She began writing songs that reflected her own experiences, dreams, and the life she had lived in Tennessee. One of her earliest masterpieces, Joshua, released in 1970, showcased her ability to craft a compelling narrative in song. The track told the story of a young woman overcoming fear to connect with a man named Joshua, and it became her first solo #1 hit on the country charts. Critics praised the song for its emotional honesty, and it solidified Dolly's reputation as both a performer and a songwriter. The Wagner years also provided Dolly with lessons about the complexities of the music industry. Working under a mentor figure was both nurturing and constraining. Porter Wagoner encouraged her growth, but he also expected loyalty and collaboration, which sometimes limited her ability to fully express her individuality. This tension ultimately led to one of the most defining moments in her early career. In 1973, Dolly decided to leave Wagner's show to pursue a solo career, a bold move that could have jeopardized her growing fame. Yet, with characteristic determination, she transformed the challenge into opportunity. Her departure from Wagner inspired one of the most iconic songs in her career, I Will Always Love You. Written as a farewell to Wagner, the song was simple yet profoundly emotional, reflecting gratitude, love, and a bittersweet sense of independence. Released in 1974, it became her second solo #1 country hit and would later achieve global fame when Whitney Houston covered it decades later. The song not only demonstrated Dolly's lyrical genius, but also marked her emergence as an artist fully in control of her own destiny. Parallel to her professional developments, Dolly's personal identity was coming into focus. She embraced her Appalachian roots, unapologetically crafted her image, and began experimenting with style, fashion, and public persona. Her big hair, sparkling outfits, and radiant smile became as iconic as her music. Dolly herself described the choices she made regarding her appearance with humor and self-awareness, famously quipping, "It takes a lot of money to look this cheap." Behind the glamour, however, was a shrewd businesswoman who understood the importance of branding and creative control, skills she would refine over the coming decades. The early 1970s also saw Dolly branching into solo albums with increasing success. Records such as Coat of Many Colors, 1971, and My Tennessee Mountain Home, 1973, drew deeply from her personal experiences, blending autobiography with universal themes. Coat of Many Colors, in particular, told the story of a coat her mother stitched from rags, symbolizing love and resilience in the face of poverty. The song resonated with audiences nationwide, touching hearts across class, gender, and regional lines. It became not just a hit single, but a cultural touchstone, often cited as one of the most meaningful songs in country music history. During this period, Dolly also continued her live performances, touring extensively across the United States. She played small venues, county fairs, and large theaters, each show reflecting her energy, warmth, and connection with audiences. Fans responded to her authenticity. They could see themselves in her stories, her struggles, and her triumphs. Her ability to connect emotionally through music became a hallmark of her career and a reason why her fan base was not only large, but deeply loyal. By the mid-1970s, Dolly Parton had successfully transitioned from protege to solo star. Her chart-topping hits, Relentless touring and charismatic television presence cemented her as one of country music's most promising talents. She had proven herself as a songwriter capable of crafting timeless stories, a performer who could light up a stage, and an artist unafraid to assert her independence. This era also set the stage for her eventual crossover into pop music and broader mainstream fame. The foundation laid during the Porter Wagoner years, songwriting excellence, performance skill, and a carefully cultivated image would allow Dolly to reach audiences far beyond Nashville, eventually making her one of the most recognizable entertainers in the world. After her departure from the Porter Wagoner show in 1974, Dolly Parton faced a moment that could have defined her career in one of two ways: as a cautionary tale of a young artist leaving a mentor, or as the launchpad to enduring stardom. True to her resilient and ambitious nature, Dolly chose the latter. She had already proven herself as a songwriter of rare talent, but now the stage was hers alone. She poured her experiences, her heritage, and her personal philosophy into her music, crafting songs that were heartfelt, honest, and universally relatable. One of her most significant early solo works was Jolene, 1973 to 1974, a song inspired by real-life insecurities and human emotion. Its haunting melody and narrative structure captured listeners instantly, and it remains one of her signature songs. Jolene showcased her ability to combine storytelling, vulnerability, and vocal expression into a compact, unforgettable package. The song climbed the charts quickly and crossed over to pop radio, marking the beginning of her broader appeal beyond traditional country audiences. Around this time, Dolly released albums that established her as a solo artist with a unique voice in the industry. Coat of Many Colors, 1971, had already built her reputation for authentic, emotionally resonant songs, but the mid to late 1970s saw her experimenting with more contemporary sounds while retaining her roots. Albums such as My Tennessee Mountain Home, 1973, Love is Like a Butterfly, 1974, and All I Can Do, 1976, combined traditional country instrumentation with accessible melodies that appealed to pop listeners without alienating her country fan base. The success of her singles and albums gave Dolly the confidence to shape her image deliberately. She embraced a persona that was simultaneously glamorous, approachable, and unabashedly individual. Her larger-than-life stage outfits, bold hairstyles, and sparkling costumes became as much a part of her brand as her music. But underneath the rhinestones and sequins was a woman grounded in her Appalachian roots, who never forgot the lessons of poverty, faith, and family. She famously described her appearance with humor. "It takes a lot of money to look this cheap." The line captured the combination of self-awareness, wit, and determination that defined her career. Dolly's crossover into pop music accelerated in 1977 with the release of Here You Come Again, produced by Gary Klein. The title track was her first major pop crossover hit, blending country storytelling with a polished pop sound that reached the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. This success introduced her to audiences beyond country music fans and solidified her status as a mainstream star. The album earned her a Grammy Award for Best Female Country Vocal Performance, marking her first of many prestigious awards. Throughout the late 1970s, Dolly's career was marked by both commercial success and creative experimentation. She continued to write deeply personal songs, reflecting on family, love, heartbreak, and social observation, while also producing tracks aimed at broadening her audience. Hits like Two Doors Down and It's All Wrong But It's All Right demonstrated her ability to balance authenticity with market appeal. Her albums sold in the millions, and she consistently topped charts in both country and pop categories. During this period, Dolly also began expanding into other forms of entertainment. She appeared on television specials, variety shows, and late-night talk shows, using every opportunity to reach fans directly and cultivate her personal brand. Her warmth, humor, and natural charisma made her a beloved figure not just as a singer but as a personality in American popular culture. Fans appreciated her openness, her storytelling, and her refusal to compromise her identity despite commercial pressures. By the end of the 1970s, Dolly Parton had become one of the most recognized entertainers in the world. She was no longer just a country artist or Porter Wagoner's protege. She was a solo star, a cultural figure, and a role model for authenticity, ambition, and resilience. Her success in crossing over into pop demonstrated her versatility and her ability to connect with listeners on multiple levels, ensuring her relevance across genres and generations. This era also laid the groundwork for her future ventures in film, business, and philanthropy. The skills she developed, self-promotion, brand management, and cross-genre creativity, would allow her to expand far beyond music into Hollywood, theme parks, and global humanitarian efforts. Her story in the late 1970s was one of transformation, from a young girl in a Tennessee cabin to an artist commanding stages, charts, and hearts worldwide. The 1980s marked a period of unparalleled expansion for Dolly Parton, as she transformed from a country music superstar into a global entertainment icon. Having conquered country and pop music charts, Dolly set her sights on new horizons, Hollywood. Her natural charisma, comedic timing, and emotional depth made her an appealing candidate for film, television, and other multimedia projects. Her first major acting role came in 1980 with 9 to 5, a workplace comedy directed by Colin Higgins. In the film, Dolly starred alongside Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, portraying Dorothy Rhodes, a secretary navigating the challenges of a male-dominated office. The movie was a commercial and critical success, grossing over $100 million and earning widespread acclaim. Dolly also co-wrote and performed the film's title track, 9 to 5, which became a chart-topping single and earned her 2 Grammy Awards nominations. The song's catchy melody and empowering lyrics captured the zeitgeist of working women in America and showcased Dolly's skill at blending music with social commentary. Following the success of 9 to 5, Dolly pursued additional film projects, demonstrating her versatility as an actress. She starred in movies such as The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, 1982, and Rhinestone, 1984. While critical reception varied, these projects expanded her reach beyond the music industry and solidified her presence as a recognizable figure in popular culture. Her ability to seamlessly transition between singing, acting, and comedy illustrated her multidimensional talent and her capacity to appeal to diverse audiences. Parallel to her Hollywood ventures, Dolly continued to innovate in the business realm. In 1986, she opened Dollywood, a theme park located in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, near her childhood home. The park became a symbol of her commitment to her roots, tourism, and regional economic development. Dollywood offered live musical performances, craft demonstrations, rides, and cultural exhibits celebrating the heritage of the Smoky Mountains. Under Dolly's guidance, the park thrived, attracting millions of visitors annually and providing jobs for local residents. Dollywood also reflected Dolly's unique vision, blending entertainment, education, and cultural preservation in a way that was both commercially successful and personally meaningful. During the 1980s, Dolly also explored her entrepreneurial instincts in music production and publishing. She maintained ownership of her song catalog, negotiated favorable contracts, and invested in projects that aligned with her artistic vision. Her business acumen was particularly notable in an industry historically dominated by men. Dolly's strategic decisions allowed her to retain creative control, expand her brand, and cultivate financial independence, lessons that would influence other artists seeking empowerment in the music business. Musically, Dolly continued to release hits throughout the decade. Songs such as Islands in the Stream, 1983, a duet with Kenny Rogers, written by the Bee Gees, topped charts worldwide and demonstrated her ability to collaborate successfully across genres. She maintained a balance between country roots and pop appeal, further solidifying her status as a crossover artist. Albums such as Heartbreaker, 1978, and Rainbow, 1987, showcased her versatility, from heartfelt ballads to upbeat, radio-friendly tracks, appealing to both traditional country fans and broader audiences. Her philanthropic and cultural influence also began to expand during this period. She supported education, community initiatives, and charitable causes in her home state of Tennessee and beyond. Even at the height of her fame, Dolly never lost touch with her beginnings in the Smoky Mountains. She used her platform to give back, often quietly, demonstrating that her success carried responsibilities she took seriously. The 1980s were, in many ways, a decade of consolidation and expansion for Dolly Parton. She had achieved musical stardom, proved herself in Hollywood, launched a major business venture, and begun to influence social and cultural trends. Her ability to diversify her career while staying true to her artistic identity exemplified both her talent and her foresight. She became not just a performer, but a brand, a cultural ambassador, and a figure of empowerment for women and aspiring artists around the world. By the end of the decade, Dolly Parton was firmly established as a household name. Her influence extended beyond music and film into business, philanthropy, and popular culture. The foundation she built during the 1980s set the stage for her continued impact in the 1990s and beyond, proving that her creativity, intelligence, and charisma could transcend boundaries and industries. The 1990s and beyond marked a period in which Dolly Parton's influence transcended entertainment, establishing her as a humanitarian, cultural icon, and enduring creative force. While she had already achieved superstardom, Dolly used this phase of her career to leverage her fame for broader social impact, all while continuing to produce compelling music that resonated with new generations of fans. A hallmark of this era was her philanthropic focus, particularly in literacy. In 1995, Dolly founded the Imagination Library, a program designed to provide free books to children from birth through age 5, regardless of family income. Starting with just a few hundred children in Sevier County, Tennessee, the program expanded rapidly, ultimately distributing millions of books annually across the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and other countries. The initiative reflects Dolly's lifelong commitment to education and empowerment, rooted in her own upbringing in a home where books and storytelling were scarce but valued. The program's success has cemented Dolly's legacy as not only an entertainer, but also